What is going on, everybody? For those who don't know, I go by BLSG, and this is another Sixers post-game video. If you guys are new to this channel and love talking Philly sports every single day, go down below and hit the subscribe button, smash that like button, and make sure to turn the notification bell so you guys are instantly notified whenever I upload a new video. Now, last night, the Philadelphia 76ers got crushed by the Brooklyn Nets at the Wells Fargo Center, 129-100. The Sixers still remain as the third best team in the Eastern Conference behind the Chicago Bulls and the Miami Heat. But this was a big time loss for the Philadelphia 76ers. And I know all the people out there, everybody who's not a Sixers fan, they're going to say, oh, the Sixers suck. Oh, James Harden's overrated. Oh, James Harden's a ball hog. The Sixers officially suck now. Listen. This is just one game where James Harden literally lost and did not shoot well. He, I believe, only had like 11 or 13 points in last night's game, and it was just brutal for James Harden. And honestly, in my opinion, I was not happy the way Harden played last night at all. But I feel like this was a bad shooting night for James Harden. And also, at school today, I heard many classmates of mine in my school saying, oh, the Sixers suck. Oh, the Sixers suck. Oh, the Sixers are overrated. James Harden's a ball hog. Listen, this was just one game in the James Harden era that we lost, alright? This is our 6th game in the James Harden era, and this was just our first loss with James Harden. And James Harden just had a bad game. Joel Embiid was mainly carrying this team over and over and over, like he pretty much always does every night. There was a little bit of production every now and then from a few other players, but not really the best production that other players could provide. But at the end of the day, this was a brutal game for the Philadelphia 76ers, and I think there are some reasons behind this that I think we need to talk about right now. And I'm going to get into those right now, actually. So, number one reason, in my opinion, why we lost this game was because the Sixers just didn't really come prepared. They were not ready for this game against Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and Bruce Brown, and many of these other players. They were not prepared for this game. They really were not prepared to face these guys in the Wells Fargo Center. And Steve Nash, I believe, outcoached Doc Rivers, at least from my personal perspective. I'm getting this. And also, before I continue on, I gotta give props to the Brooklyn Nets for how they played that game. I always show respect to guys like Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, two of probably the greatest on the Nets team to ever possibly do what they possibly do, especially this year. And let me just continue on by going ahead and saying this. But anyway, props to the Brooklyn Nets for taking advantage. Well, we didn't really have our best night, so good. Congrats, Brooklyn Nets fans. You guys got what you wanted. And anyway, let's continue. So I really think that the players just were really not prepared last night for the game against Brooklyn. Brooklyn came all fired up. They came hungry. They wanted that win. It came down to who wanted it more, and the Sixers really just didn't really have it in them. The Brooklyn Nets had it in them more than the Philadelphia 76ers. And honestly, Brooklyn, they took advantage of it. Kevin Durant was not missing. Kyrie Irving put a couple clutch shots. They even had some bench production, and all that was going on. But at the end of the day, the Brooklyn Nets just took advantage of the Philadelphia 76ers, and that is one reason why the Philadelphia 76ers lost this game last night. Number two, the Sixers fans, because Ben Simmons came back into the Wells Fargo Center, and I feel like the Philadelphia 76ers fans there, they just overhyped them. They overhyped the Sixers. They overhyped the Sixers players. And honestly, like in my personal opinion, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the fan base in Philadelphia. I love every Philadelphia fan base, but I just feel like the Sixers fans, they overhyped the Sixers. They were booing Ben Simmons. They were saying bad things about Ben Simmons. And even Kevin Durant goes to the post game and says something about how the Philadelphia 76ers fans are chanting Ben Simmons' name and we're the ones that lost. I mean, come on, Kevin Durant. Like, you're going to disrespect us like that? Like, come on now. But still, I have respect for Kevin Durant. One of the greatest on the Brooklyn Nets to honestly ever do it. And also with Golden State. But anyway, I think the Sixers fans, They just overhyped the Sixers. They were so excited for this game that they wanted the Sixers to absolutely dominate the Brooklyn Nets. And I completely understand. I would want to do the same thing if I was in the Wells Fargo Center. But the thing is, you can't overhype your team. You can't do that. The Sixers were literally just overhyped by the fans. I think they got a little distracted based on how the fans were cheering for them. And honestly, at the end of the day, I think it just distracted the fans a little bit. The Sixers fans have not cheered in a single game ever as much as this one. This one they wanted to win so they would shut Ben Simmons up. But then Kevin Durant goes over to the press conference and absolutely destroys the Philadelphia 76ers right back and tells them to shut up about talking smack about Ben Simmons. But at the end of the day, you got to be better than that, Sixers. You can't get too distracted when the fans are cheering you guys on. But at the end of the day, I really think that the Sixers need to take advantage, need to really have a bounce back game, and they really just need to be better than that. They're going to need to take a long look at the film from last night, and at the end of the day, man, we really just need to look better than that. We didn't look great at all last night. We looked terrible. We looked absolutely terrible. We never even took a lead in this game. That's how bad we were. We never even took a lead in this game. So, those are mainly my two reasons on why the Philadelphia 76ers lost this game. Now let's go to the player stats. Joel Embiid had 27 points last night, but really most of his points really didn't come from the field. Most of his points came from the free throw line. He made like 13 out of 15 free throws or 17 free throws. I don't know, but Joel Embiid made most of his points from free throws. Maybe like half of his points were free throws because 27 of his points and then like 13 points at the free throw line. So Joel Embiid had half of his points come from the free throw line. He had a few three-pointers, and he obviously had some points from the field. So really, Joel Embiid was obviously our best player like he pretty much always is. James Harden struggling, like I said before, with like 11 or 13 points. And at the end of the day, that's just a brutal night for James Harden. Harden already went up to the press conference and says, I need to be better in this system. I have to be a better player. I need to be one of the leaders on this team. He said something like that. I'm probably not saying the exact words that he said, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Now, Tobias Harris. He had 16 points and probably his best game in the James Harden era, where he was like 4 for 5 from behind the arc. So he was 4 for 5 from 3. And he tried to put in every single bucket that he could. He was 5 for 10 from the field. So he probably had his best game in the James Harden era. So Tobias Harris, I can definitely say that you have improved a little bit. But at the same time, you gotta get up there, Tobias. We need 20 to 25 points from you at the very least. That is all we're asking for. But try to get as much points as you can. But at the end of the day, Tobias Harris really needs to take advantage when James Harden is not having a great shooting night. But Tobias Harris, in my opinion, had his best game in the James Harden era. And anyway, let's just continue. So now, we got Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey, he didn't even have a good night. He had like 4 points and that was it. And how bad the Sixers played was for the fact that Furkan Korkmaz, yes, Furkan Korkmaz, had more points than Tyrese Maxey. Furkan Korkmaz had 8 points while Tyrese Maxey had 4. That's how bad the Sixers played last night. Furkan Korkmaz had more points than Tyrese Maxey. Furkan Korkmaz with 8, Tyrese Maxey with 4. That's how bad the Sixers were last night. And moving over towards the bench, George Niang putting up close to, if not around 11 points. So George Niang tried to show a little bit in his three-point shooting, and he didn't look that bad, but he didn't look awful for a bench piece. But this bench needs to be more consistent. The starters need to be more consistent. And at the end of the day, we just have to find our rhythm here. We need to get back into the swing of things, and we just have to find our comfort zone in order to win many more of these games to have a decent spot in the playoffs for the Eastern Conference. And mainly the last thing we're going to talk about, it's not going to be related to this game. It's going to be our next game coming up on Sunday against the Orlando Magic. 6 o'clock for that game. By the way, I am planning on doing a live play-by-play for that Sixers vs. Magic game. So be sure to come through and tune in to your boy. Play-by-play this game, commentate this game, and feel free to watch your boy do what he does. And feel free to come into the chat and chop it up with your boy. I am definitely planning on doing that game, and I know you guys will want to hopefully watch your boy do what he does and do the best play-by-plays that I possibly can. So definitely be sure to come through. We'll have it set up for, we'll probably have it set up for like 5:55, something like that. And then it'll be go time once it is after 6 o'clock whenever the game starts. Hopefully it's on NBC Sports Philly and not on TNT, because on TNT, man, on TNT, alright, the game was scheduled for 7:30, but the guys never had this game started until like 8 o'clock. That's how terrible TNT is, to be completely honest. But anyway, be sure to come through on Sunday. 5:55 will be the start time, but I'll probably be on at like 6 o'clock whenever I get on there. But be sure to come through, tune in with your boy, and be sure to come in and chop it up and give me your thoughts whenever the game happens. So anyway, we're going to keep moving forward with this. But anyway, the Sixers, they just need to play much better. The starters need to be more consistent. The bench needs to be more consistent. And Doc Rivers cannot get out-coached. If Doc Rivers gets out-coached, it could be the reason we would lose a game. And Doc Rivers, last night, I thought he didn't coach that bad. I thought Doc Rivers actually coached pretty well. It's just that the players were not being consistent enough to be able to make their shots. And they just really weren't making their shots, and they were not being that consistent. So I don't take this blame on Doc Rivers from last night's game. I take the blame on the players. But anyway, we cannot lose this game to the Orlando Magic. We just cannot lose this game to one of the worst teams in the NBA. We cannot lose this game. We lose this game, I don't know what to say for the Philadelphia 76ers, but we definitely have to improve in this game against the Orlando Magic. And at the end of the day, we just got to step it up. James Harden needs to be more consistent on the shooting. He can't go 1 for 7 from 3. Joel Embiid just needs to keep being Joel Embiid. Tobias Harris needs to provide us with around 15 to 25 points at least. Tyrese Maxey's got to be more consistent. This bench needs to be more consistent. And we just have to have a better performance than what we put up last night against the Brooklyn Nets. So, realistically, at the end of the day, this was a pretty bad loss to the Brooklyn Nets. And I know NBA fans are like, oh, the Sixers suck. Oh, the Sixers team is overrated. It was just one loss in the James Harden era, so calm down. And when we beat the Orlando Magic on Sunday, I don't want to hear any excuses. I don't want to hear any blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear anything. I want to hear all NBA fans be nice and quiet. I want them to shut their mouths when we beat the Orlando Magic on Sunday. Hopefully we beat the Orlando Magic on Sunday. And at the end of the day, let's just go out and get that win on Sunday over the Orlando Magic. And I know this was a brutal one for the Philadelphia 76ers last night against the Brooklyn Nets, but Brooklyn took advantage. But let's go beat the Orlando Magic on Sunday. You guys give me your thoughts down below in the comment section. How did you feel about last night's game? Give me your thoughts on the players, thoughts on anybody, and give me your thoughts on how you feel about this game against the Orlando Magic on Sunday. You guys give me your thoughts down below in the comment section. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Also, guys, we are 15 subscribers away from 300 subscribers. The 2-year anniversary on my YouTube channel is March 17th. So, Thursday of next week will be the 2-year anniversary on my YouTube channel. I just want to say right now, thank you guys for the awesome support that you guys have brought me up to this point. But let's get to that 300 subscriber mark, and I'm going to keep grinding, bringing out this content that I can, as much as I can, for you guys. And I would just appreciate 300 subscribers by the 2-year anniversary. So, if you're not subscribed, I don't know what you're doing, but go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Stop what you're doing and hit that subscribe button, and let's get to 300 subs before the 2-year anniversary on March 17th. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Peace out. Let's bounce back on Sunday and get this win. Peace.